Where am I to start? Let me show you a little picture I've designed. I already showed it once, but I'm going to show it again. You don't see it, okay? There's a block of dice there. The east, west, north, and south. The cross of Jesus is in the center, and that is a stop sign. Why does it become a stop sign, and what happens to the four corners? Well, if you look at your cards, okay, you'll see the images are upside down. They are working together. They are not working apart. The upside down cards, the 7 and the 8, are not what you think it is, and neither is the 9. I can show it again, but for right now, they cut the corners because the 1, 3, 7, and 9, okay, which would be at those corners, in this design, this is the primary building of how our universe installed us in between, inside of nowhere. Okay, so the 1, 3, 7, 9, and now I'm still not sturdy on all the reasons for those numbers, but the 1 means the spirit. It goes in the center. The 3 is creation, is what goes along either across east and west. Okay, the 7 is the God who created the whole thing. The 9 is the birth that comes out of it. 1, 3, 7, 9. And now it's mixed up inside that stop sign. Well, that's our world, and it's starting to grind. It gets whole parts. If you see, all the corners are halves. But 2, 4, and 6, and 8, they always appreciate. They're always whole. They're created worlds. They're whole. It's not a piece of creation. It's not a piece of this, and I created with this and this and this. It's a whole. Just like when you make an X, the snowflake X, okay, that's a connection, the snowflake X. That's what brings the insides and everything together. You can either see it that way, and the same way for the stop sign. All I did was close the top. All I did was close the top. I'm going to have to show you this again. But that actually creates the hourglass. The letter I, the letter H, create the hourglass of time. One of the reasons, it's very hard to explain everything. I'm going to show you this little picture I designed. Okay, now take a good look. Take a look on the left, there's an 8. Take a look on the right, there's an 8. All I did was designed our universe the way it is, our world. Why the rain comes in slanted, why the dying people lean their head to the side, why we are just intertwined with the other world. It's hard even to imagine myself that part of us is being connected. Like I can barely use my left hand. Does that mean my right hand is connected to the spirit to use it better? Is that one of the reasons? I'm like so sure. I'm so sure of everything. Another new result, that when you take the tic-tac-toe board, excuse me, when you take the roulette board and you count only the center red numbers, only the center red numbers you count. There's the roulette, you count only what's in the center. And there's only, I think there's 5 of them. Let me look back over here. 1, 2, there's only 4 numbers with red in the center. 5, which means the spirit. The 14, which means the neutralization of the spirit, which means connecting the spirit to the 4 angles. Because when you take a loop and you hold it this way, this way, this way, and this way, okay, you loop 4 angles, you now have it perfect between the 4 of them. That's how it works. That's why you have the 4 angles that connect the loop spirit and the strands to the other worlds. Okay, it's an energy source. We can't see it. Okay, but it's there. We know it's there. We measure it in our temperature outside. Every element that we weigh, every element we text, rain, precipitation, whatever it is, it's part of the connection. It works together. Doesn't it work good? Hey, that's how we can tell our weather, because that's how good it works. Okay? Yes, we're not that good in the weather. You're saying that it's not that good in the Matrix? I don't think so. So anyways, so this is what would happen. Okay. Now the four dice in the back are the stable worlds. Okay? They're not the worlds. They're not what's grinding it out. They have four corners. Okay? Now the dice that are turned on an angle, they have four corners. Now if you look at the dice, all the dice seem to have 8 marks in one, because just turning it on the side. Those are the 8 worlds, okay, of each one. There are 4. 4 by 8 is 32, and then you have in the center, okay, which is the same thing if you square it off. You have 32, and, well, anyways, I'm supposed to come very close to 63. I'm working on that, on Jupiter, 63 moons. We all connect. There's one moon missing, one moon more. We don't need a moon for Mercury or Venus. Okay? The sun pushes their energies over this way. We need nothing to transport. If you take Jupiter and try to cut an angle, okay, from its position, sitting at a 45 or 90 degrees or 180 degrees, anytime it tries to cut an angle over to Mercury and Venus, it misses it all the time. It cannot hit it. It has to be in a certain position for Jupiter to connect with Mercury or Venus. Anybody in science out there? Can you tell me why, or you don't understand? It's a 21-step approach of how the planets associate with each other. 21 blackjack. I have a setup of the dice over here. Let me see. Can you see? Okay. Here's 6 dice. Okay. Now imagine you're the center of everything. You're the one. Now imagine you create. Why do we get 2 sides that oppose each other? Well, the yin and the yang, the one would go in between the 2. The 2 is showing the creation. Okay, one corner and the other corner. And they're only going to be 1, 3, 5, 7, or 9. Okay, you put them together because the 2 is expression, the 1 is expression. You put 2 and 1 together, you have the 3, which is the expression of the connection. Okay, and if you take the 2 and put it on the 3, it turns into the 5 dice. But you have to take the 2 and turn it. Turn the 2, put it over the 3, you have the 5. The 4 you can turn always and all day long, it remains the same. The 3 has 2 angles. The 6 has 2 angles. Only the 1 you can turn all day. The 4 you can turn all day. The 5 you can turn all day. The 2, 3, and 6 have 2 angles. 23 and 6 means 2 in creation of man. Okay? This is not made just the way it is. There's a reason for this. This is not just a game. You add all 6 of them, you have 21. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 11, 15, 16, 17, 21. I had a lot of things on my schedule. I just want to tell you now, the center of 3 or 4 things that I found, all total 74. And the letter count for Jesus is 74. The letter count for Tacpans's, which is without the Mr. on Tacpans's, is 74. Time is 47. 4 angles of the 7, in which 7, God ends up in the center, in the fivefold. God is 1, 4, and 7. Okay? And if you look at your tic-tac-toe board, on the left-hand side going down, it's 1, 4, 7. 1 month of February, 4 months of 30, 7 months of 31. So God is 1, 4, and 7. So that's why he counts for Jesus, and he counts for time, There are so many things. Let me tell you, the only reason I'm making this, I really didn't have much to say, but I solely must believe in my system. My system isn't, I just can't explain it properly. Maybe I'm coming off wrong. I don't know what it is. I'm not studying it enough. I'm not writing it well. But there's very little. I highly believe in it. I highly believe in it. I really do. The way everything intertwines with each other, the rings on our fingers and rings on our toes, because of the matrix rings and the spirit strands, and the cobwebs. It's like an ant house. It's crazy. The way it transfers energies and the colors of the wiring and the game of cards. He showed us 13 cards, and the Jack Queen King were actually. Do you know how the one part about the Jack Queen King? I want to show you. I hope I can get this all in. Is that you have a square, right? But on the outside of that square, you put one line, and that shows a K or a king. So you put a line on the other side, and it shows you two Ks. Now you put a line on each other side, and your diamond went inside a square and creates four Ks. Okay. The reason for the queen is very simple. How the queen comes to be is when two diamonds come and meet each other, like this, okay? In all actuality, if you look at that, it looks a little bit like the spade, doesn't it? Okay, now what I'm going to show you is I'm going to try and show it to you this way. Can you see the way it shows queen? The starting of a second diamond below this diamond, which actually is a dice overlapping a dice, shows you the Q letter, how the queen was created. The Jack Queen King is created by the dice and the dots, and they added the numbers later on for us to understand. They gave us Rubik's Cube. As I showed you before, inside the creation of the three worlds, one of the levels has 8 plus 1, the core that keeps it all together, with the other worlds that go above it and below it, inside the Rubik's Cube. We are the round world inside a square cube. Anyways, that's it for now. Short video. I'm not sure what I didn't show you. Roulette is definitely telling a story. Somebody must find out who made that game. Who made that game? What were they thinking? The stop sign, the way everything intertwines. The Mayan calendar, 25,625. If you multiply 41 by the 625, you get the same number, 25,625. The short count of 5,125. If you multiply the 125 by 40 or 41, you end up with 5,125 again. There is something I wanted to tell you about the Mayans. 25, 6, 25, that's what it is. 2 beta, 5, for the 5 spirit of man 6. They're talking about the two worlds. The two worlds are both 25, beta and spirit, created our world 6. 25, 6, 25. It's all real, man. Either it's real in my head, and I'm going to be sick like a dog one day when nothing comes true, but it's like magic if it does come true. And I highly believe in it. And you know what? Somebody created something that may never exist, but in my mind, I have figured a good piece of it out, and I know it does. And that's what pushes me on to strive. Once you get it, you tap into those powers. Can we make